Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and welcome back to the channel. And obviously, this video is not a motivational video because these are habits that poor people basically have. And the idea is whenever you watch a motivational video, it gets you pumped, it gets you hyped, but then the video is over and you have no tools to actually change your circumstances. And I hate that. So this video right here is a video where I tell you step by step, hey, here are the 3 habits that are stopping you from achieving whatever it is that you actually want to achieve. Obviously, these are poor men habits or people's habits, okay? So obviously, it's more financial stuff to get you out of financial trouble in a sense, okay? So this video is not motivational, but there is one piece of motivation that I will give you right now. While I was making this video, I kept thinking about moments in my life that got me to change dramatically to become the person I am today. But the truth is that it wasn't a single moment in a specific time, but it was like multiple moments over a multitude of time. And I kind of crossed it down to 3 moments that can take you a day to figure out or years to figure out, depending on the type of person you actually are. And they're basically, the first moment is when you realize that something is not right and you're not any longer comfortable with sustaining just like a bad situation. And the second moment is when you realize that you are 100% responsible for making a change and changing your circumstances. Now, the third moment is a choice you have to make. And the choice is simple. You either ignore the voice in your head telling you, hey, things are not okay, you're responsible, or you go ahead and you start obsessing about making a change in your life to actually change your circumstances. And I know for a fact, if you're watching this video right now, you are on the latter, meaning you notice there's a problem, you notice you're responsible, and now you're ready to go ahead and make a change. So I don't need to motivate you. I don't need to tell you, you need to work harder. None of that stuff, because you are already here by choice. You could be watching Netflix, but you're obviously not. And my favorite quote of all time is this one right here. I don't know who told it to me, but I love it. And it goes like this, okay? In life, you don't get what you want, you get what you deserve. So you have 2 jobs in this life. The first one is figure out what it is you want, and then figure out what it is you need to do to deserve whatever it is you want. If you want to be, for example, the best golfer ever, obviously you got to train like crazy. If you want to make X amount of money, there's something you got to do to actually earn that much money. If you want to have a great relationship, there's someone you have to become to be able to attract those people. Everything in life is your responsibility. Is it fair all the time? The answer is no, but that's not the game. The game is you got to keep playing no matter what. Now, let's dive in directly into these habits and go into detail what you need to do. And as always, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified. I post videos every single week. And on top of that, also destroy the like button because it does help a lot with the algorithm, and I appreciate it a ton. Now, the first habit, which is a terrible habit, is going to be the habit of good enough. And this comes from a level of comfort, which then leads into complacency, which then leads into a massive level of dissatisfaction in your life. And we all know someone, or you might be that person where you start a job, you don't really like it, but you kind of get used to it, you become complacent, and all of a sudden you are super dissatisfied with the whole thing, and you don't even want to go there, but now you build a life around it where your life has to be based on this job because that job pays the bills, and it's just an awful circle. I hate this job, but it pays my bills for things I don't need, and I have to keep coming here, and you become super dissatisfied with life. Now, this might look like a job, it might look like a career, it might look like a romantic relationship or a platonic one, it might look like alcohol, bad habit, drugs, it might look a lot of things, okay? But the point is, your life becomes just good enough and you're just okay with just staying there. I know so many people that when I look at them and I see the problem and I see a solution and I give it to them, they're not willing to receive it because they're fine where they are. And that's a terrible habit. And most likely watching this video, that's not you because you notice there's a problem and now you're willing to actually go ahead and fix it. Tommy, how do I fix this, okay? Well, I learned this from a Navy SEALs, okay? The guy is called Jocko Willink, and he wrote this book called Extreme Ownership. And the overall idea is you have to take 100% responsibility 100% of the time for everything that happens in your life. And you also have to become very comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where growth basically happens. So for example, if you have a terrible job, take an honest account of what is going on. What can you do to change this problem? Is it ask and talk to your employer? Is it leave the job? Is it, for example, well, I want to do this other thing, but I don't have the skills. So is it stay at that job while you learn that skill so you basically leave that job? The answer is you got to take an honest account of your life and figure out a way to actually make these changes. I remember I spoke to this friend of mine, okay? It's a girl. And she told me, Tommy, I love this job, but I'm getting paid $10 an hour, and I'm not willing to ask for a raise or go anywhere else. And I was like, what type of life is this where you stay somewhere that although you like it because it's complacency in a sense, and you don't get paid enough to pay your bills, but you're willing to stay there? Don't do that. Take an honest account of your life and figure out what you're gonna do. On top of that, also, let's say you're having financial trouble, okay? You are in debt. You're living paycheck to paycheck, and you just don't know what to do because it just seems like everything is just overwhelming. I have a friend. He just got his first job in 6 months because he's been laid off, basically. No job whatsoever, very hard. And now he's worried about having a kid. It's like self-sabotage, okay? He's just, oh my gosh, what if this lady right here or this girl is basically, is about to have a baby and it's mine? Like, imagine that, right? My point is, okay, when it comes to financial stuff, the idea is the same thing applies. You take responsibility. But then you say, for example, okay, let me take an honest look and an honest account of everything going on here. What are you spending your money on? Write everything down. Be meticulous about everything. Be annoying about everything. What do I spend my money on? And what are my goals? What can I take out? Then you make a budget. Then you make a plan. Then you do the research. I have tons of videos about financial freedom, about how to pay off debt, how to pay off credit card debt, how to build credit. All this stuff is out there. But you have to make the choice to say, hey, I have this problem. Here's how I'm going to fix it. Don't accept your situation. I've seen it a lot, and it gets very sad and ugly, okay? You don't want to do that. And then you have bad habits, okay? For me, a bad habit can be, for example, I like doing this all the time, although I know it's not good for me. I have no switch where I can basically do something moderately. I'm either all in or all out. So to me, cold turkey is the best way to actually just fix something. But for you, it might be slowly getting out of something, whatever your bad habit basically is. Or it might be joining a support group, whatever it is. My point is, figure out the problem, identify what you can do about it, and then slowly but surely start working towards fixing that problem and take extreme ownership over it. Don't just stick to this bad habit of my life is good enough and I'm going to be fine this way. Because the people I love the most usually live this way. And they get to 66, 65 years old and they're like, what did I do with my entire life? I lived it, but I never really felt like I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. And that's a terrible feeling, and you can't get back time because that's gone. Now, the second habit is not seeking knowledge. And it usually comes from, Tommy, I don't have enough time to learn this new skill. I don't have enough time to read a book. And my question is always, how many books have you read in the past 90 days? Or how many courses or videos have you watched about self-improvement in the past 90 days? What have you done lately to improve or make yourself a lot smarter? Because smartness is not something you're born with. I think my vocabulary might prove me wrong on that one, but it's something that you basically grow and you improve and you learn every single day to actually reach a capable amount of intelligence, okay? That's the idea. You build intelligence. You don't need to be born or naturally gifted with it. I was born, it's a carrot, okay? Massively not that clever if you ask me, okay? But the main idea is this. How do you fix this? Well, I'll tell you my personal story. From age 0 to 18, I can say this, I read one book willingly, and that book was called The Giver. From age 19 to 25, I read over 200 books, easily. And you might say, Tommy, well, that is insane. You made a crazy choice. You changed your whole life, but that's just not me. The answer is, I learned today that the average American spends around 3.1 hours watching TV, not a week, every single day. That's literally 90 hours a month. That's literally 22 4-hour audiobooks every single month that you could be reading instead. And the way I read all those books was basically, I replaced all of the entertainment stuff with audiobooks. When I went to the gym, audiobook. When I went somewhere with traveling, commuting, audiobook. I became obsessed with knowledge because I knew that the only way to get to where I wanted to go faster without making the same mistakes was by learning from other people's mistakes and also their successes. So my advice is this. Here is the action step, because again, this is not a motivational video, it's a how-to. Knowledge is important because the more knowledge you have, the more capable you become, and the more you avoid stupid mistakes you shouldn't be making anyways. So what you want to do is figure out your time deficit. Figure out what you want to spend your time on. Figure out what you want to learn, and then make a plan and a schedule and block out time out of your schedule to say, I'm going to use this time for this, to learn this. And by the way, it's easy for me to say this, right? Because it kind of sounds pretty cool, but I'm not the only person, or you're not the only person struggling with it, okay? I had to uninstall all my social media apps because I noticed I was spending a bunch of time on my phone. So if I go right here to screen time on my phone, it'll show you, like, this is normal because I spend a lot of time like doing like fitness stuff on my phone. But if I go here to, for example, last week, how do you do this stuff? See all activity, and you go, for example, the past few weeks here. Look how much time I spent on my phone. I was spending a whopping 9 hours and 20 minutes on my phone on Safari, on YouTube. YouTube is basically what I was using. Now, YouTube is a great resource to find, for example, free courses, free information, free knowledge. I spend it to watch stupid videos. I admit it. Watch a lot of stupid videos that did not help me whatsoever. But my point is the equivalent of me just spending 9 hours of my time on this phone to do something that doesn't benefit me. The answer is figure out your time deficit. Where are you spending the time that doesn't bring you any results? And then you replace that with either an audiobook or just some reading. And that's the idea. And don't think reading is boring. I thought so too. When you read about something that you're interested in, or when you start taking courses about things you're interested in, it becomes a lot more exciting because you're actually interested in it and you will see a direct benefit in your life and how it improves. Okay, so that's the idea. Seek knowledge. Don't not seek knowledge. It's a bad habit. Most people, once they graduate college or high school, they never read again. That's pretty crazy. And they just stick to what they know and they live like that forever, and that's why nothing ever changes. Now, the third habit is the circle habit, the hero's habit. And what this means is basically, it's kind of like the playground theory. You ever seen, for example, when you take a kid to a playground and the mom is like, go play, and they make some friends and they go back home, and it's kind of like, well, that's my friend now. You know, when you're an adult, you pick your circle, you pick your friends. And I learned some interesting things that basically, I think media, I watched this whole video today about it. It was like 4 or 5 minutes while doing research for this video. And it was like the average lifespan for a friendship is 10 years, like 7 years or so. And I noticed that I had a lot of relationships that I shouldn't have had for 10 years because that was like the average. And the average is not what you want always, okay? You should be able to identify a bad relationship that does not benefit you and then go ahead and basically move on. It sounds kind of critical, bad, but it's true. The people you surround yourself with, statistically, you're going to make the same amount of money that they do. If you hang around losers, people that just complain, that are haters, you're probably going to be one of those people too. I noticed that. Okay, that's super, super important. And I remember I watched this documentary or this video, something like that. And it was about like, you know, the Spider-Man guy, the first Spider-Man guy, and also the guy from the Titanic. I cannot remember celebrity names for nothing. But these two guys, they found each other very early on and they chose to be friends. And ever since then, I kind of realized like the friends that I have, they're my choice to keep and my choice to make. It's also my choice to make the investments in those friendships to maintain those friendships. And I realized just yesterday when I looked up finally and realized what I was doing, that all the people around me is kind of like I chose all those people as friends. The people I see in the gym, I found those people and sought them out. People I see, for example, when I'm running, I found those people and sought those people out. People at church, I found those people and sought those people out. And I'm trying to invest my time in them to build those friendships that actually are investments, that actually do produce something, that actually are beneficial. When you talk to someone that wants the same thing as you, that is amazing. When you have a relationship with someone that all they see is negativity, then that's not really what you want. Am I telling you to break up with your friends? The answer is no, I'm not really saying that. What I am saying is Start picking your friends wisely. Start picking your heroes because you'll become the average of them. Now that means go to the places. This is the action step. Go to the places where these people are. If you want to make friends with people that are healthy, go to the gym. People that are spiritual, go to church. People that are whatever, you go to those places to find those people. Now, if you are surrounded by none of that stuff, like I was when I was in New York, I couldn't find any of those people. Well, I went ahead and basically, I found a few, by the way, don't get offended, but I went ahead and I dove into books and literature to find those people there and have them mentor me. So I started spending a lot more time in books than I would with actual people, which is probably not the healthiest thing, honestly, but that helped me out a lot and it changed my way of thinking. So overall, again, this is not a motivational video, but if you follow these things through, if you become very good at being uncomfortable and comfortable at being uncomfortable, you will do better in life. And if you are 100% honest, 100% responsible for your actions and your circumstances, you are going to make actual changes to change them. That's going to move you forward. If you go ahead and say, well, I'm also going to go ahead and seek knowledge and try to learn something new every single day, eventually that compounds just like money would. And before you know it, 5 years pass, 10 years pass, and you'll have so much knowledge that you'll just be surprised at yourself. Sometimes I'm like, how do I know all this stuff? It's kind of crazy, but you learn it over time. It's not something that happens overnight. And last thing, if you surround yourself with positive, outgoing people that are chasing similar things as you are, they don't have to be like a copy of you, but people that just are chasing their own ambitions, not yours, like their own ambitions, that's awesome. And you're going to see a massive difference in your life too. Those are my habits. And I believe these habits are gateway habits. These are fundamental habits. If you change these habits, they will lead you on to just having an overall changed life. And you might say, Tommy, how does this apply to me being a poor person and not having, for example, enough money? Well, if you're okay with staying in a mediocre job, that's a problem. That's all comfort. If you're okay with hanging around people that don't add value to you, that's a problem. That probably leads you to overspending money too. And if you're okay with not learning anything new and any skills, well, that also keeps you poor. All this stuff applies financially and also in life. That's why I made the video the way I made it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're not notified. Comment down below any questions. And on top of that, up here is another video that will help you and improve your life in some way. And on top of that, here's my face. Click and subscribe so you always get notified when I post a new video. And as always, long-term team out. Follow me on Instagram at TommyBryson, although I uninstalled Instagram until I can learn to manage myself with that stuff, okay? But peace out.